first of all, let me say congratulations for having the determination to put together a story that we need to hear. When you decided to put this together, where did you draw the line, to make this story as unique and real as possible, and splash it with the component of the suspense and the horror that it needed to have?
The fact that it was online and, and online presences and things like that, just I could see a lot of parallels between online trolling and being haunted, because your home's supposed to be your sanctuary. You go home to get away from everything, to shut everything out. But if you're being haunted, your home isn't your sanctuary anymore. And when you're being trolled like that, with when you're always on your phone, when you've got an addiction to social media, where's your escape? Where do you stop answering? How do you stop getting through that? You being on YouTube and on social media like that, you must get through this. This must be something that that happens to Adam, that happens to you, in the sense of that you're making content for people, and it's for people to enjoy, and as well as you're never going to please everybody. You're going to get that abuse. You're going to get things thrown at you for no reason whatsoever.
And you also have to feed the audience with what they want to see. Yep. So it's a really fine line there.
You're right. It's a balancing act, and so seeing that kind of trauma, as well as just everyday life, because life's tough. Life is tough, and pressures from work, pressures from your relationships, your friends, all of that. If that's all kind of falling apart, and the only thing you've got is this online presence, and you're constantly feeding that, it can have that instability in your mental health. And that's kind of what I wanted people to be asking themselves, is this actually happening, or has he just had a mental breakdown? Because the Twitter thread is, did this actually happen, or did he make it all up? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. When you cast actors for a movie like this, do they need to believe in what the story proposes, or on the contrary, you like to find actors that might have a cheeky take on the story, in order to actually dig in and find something even more interesting to show?
I'm the luckiest filmmaker in the world, because Augustus Prew was that guy. Augustus, when the script came to him, he just told me, he says, look, I just got over a whole host of trauma. I started to feel good in me again. And when I got this script, I could see a lot of me in this character, and kind of what I just went through, as well as he believes in the paranormal, and he suffers from sleep paralysis, and sleep psychosis. So a lot of this spoke to him, and a lot of the things that are, the fears that Adam had and the things that were going on, he had experienced similar things. So I was so lucky to have an actor who not only loved the script, but just wanted to throw himself right into it. So yeah, I said a prayer and I got Augustus Prew. That's it.
This is not an easy story to sell. When you're talking about children in a story, when you're talking about things that might be sensitive to a lot of people, you need to know exactly what buttons you want to touch, what buttons you want to push. How did you do it, and what was the greatest challenge in your opinion?
I knew I love audiences. I love audiences. The reason I make films is for people. It's not for me. It's not oh, my art. Look at me suffer for it. It's nothing to do with that. I make films for people. So when I'm making a film, I'm always sort of trying to look at my audience and look at who they are. And I know I don't want to put people in boxes. So I know that there's a big demographic there, but I know that I'm going to get the Adam Ellis fans, the fans of the original Twitter thread. So for them, me and my production team, we poured over so many images of the apartments and just trying to get things right for them, even just down to furniture. Now we took a bit of license with the layout of the apartment and things like that, but a lot of that is very similar to that, and that was for me to wink to them, for them to feel involved in that, and as well as we like myself and my costume designer Olga like poured over images of Adam Ellis and what he looked like, what he wore, and what we could sort of like bring into that time. Like, you know, back in 2017, what clothes was he wearing, what types of jumpers, and, you know, and to sort of service that audience. I knew horror fans, they were like, we want gore, John. We want gore. And like, you know, having like, you know, like the kids' brains splat all over his face and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, like I know that. I hope the horror fans are going to be like, yeah.
If you were to write a letter to David, right? Dear David, how would you start your letter to David, knowing everything that you know about the story today? And how would you end your letter to David? This is a good question. Obviously, it started with Dear David. I think I'd like to ask him, like, why, you know, why Adam, what. The thing for me about Ghosts or this kid is it's trying to tell him something. It was always trying to tell him something in that like original thread and what he was sort of experiencing. There's something trying to tell him something. So I would want to know what it is. Like, you know, what is it you want to tell me? What is it that's happened? What is it you need me to know? And then at the end, I'd always sort of say like, P.S. Please don't haunt me. I love it. That's how I would end my letter to David too.